Hello, my name is Amar Shafiq. Today we will going to learn how to use ThingsSentral application dashboard. Okay, so this basically our team developed by our team, which is Integrasi. Okay, so let's see what is ThingsSentral application. Okay, summary. Okay, so basically you have the sensor data gathered from each device. Okay, for example, you have Arduino that collects the your room temperature. So the Arduino that collect the room temperature is called edge device because it sits at very end of the infrastructure that collects the data, that produce the data, okay? Such as smartphone, your computer, microcontroller, such as Arduino or Raspberry Pi mini computer. Okay, so perhaps you monitor your garden or your car temperature and many more. Okay, so the data is then transported to the cloud database. Cloud is basically meaning internet. Okay, for example, you monitor your garden. When you transport your sensor data to cloud database, you can monitor it through application dashboard website. Okay, so that is ThingsSentral. You can monitor it anywhere in the world because internet is international network. That's how I describe internet. Okay, so let's go further. Okay, so let's go straight to the infrastructure. Now, this is the Arduino collecting data that I have did before. So for a single sensor node, we call it as a remote terminal unit. Okay, so Arduino, if you don't have Wi-Fi or any internet connection, for example, maybe in garden where you don't have Wi-Fi signal, you may have to use SIM card 2G. Okay, so the module I developed here uses GSM module. GSM module, you have to insert your SIM card and then it will use 2G connection to collect the sensor data, and then it will transport it to the online cloud database. So basically, online cloud database is like storage, data storage that is located in internet. Okay. And then from the storage, our ThingsSentral application will pull the data from our storage, and then it will display the data in very nice interactive web app. Okay. So for the interface from the hardware to the software, we call this as REST API. I use REST API, where inside the REST API, if you read, it contains a lot of method how the communication between your device and also to the internet. Okay, so one of it is HTTP GET. So I use HTTP GET to send the data from my Arduino remote terminal unit to the online cloud database. So this is very fundamental fundamental concept you have to really understand, but it's very simple. Okay, for you developer, if you're interested to learn what is REST API, I suggest you go watch on YouTube and also website and read about it. It's very simple and very powerful. Okay, so I'm showing the real cases that we done for the COVID project. So these are maybe these are common in your site. This sensor where you have to scan your forehead here. Okay, so our current project is to get the data that people scan the temperature and send to our ThingsSentral where we can monitor and do data analysis. Okay, so this is also called remote terminal unit, where inside here we have Raspberry Pi. Okay, so because the scanner is within the Wi-Fi range, we can use the Wi-Fi to send our data to the internet. So we also use HTTP GET but using Wi-Fi as previously. Okay, I cannot move the slide back. Okay, like previously I have to use GSM or GPRS. GPRS is 2G. Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi lah. Okay, the same method, use HTTP GET to send the data to the online cloud database, and then we have Salam application where we monitor the temperature, which developed by one of our member. Used to display the distribution of the temperature and also the monthly, weekly, and also daily number of people that scan, and also the temperature distribution. So this the person who scan, and as you can see, here is our RTU. It collects the data from this sensor. It will send to the ThingsSentral. So this the collected sensor data. Okay, as you can see, is body temperature. So it's very random trend of the data pattern. Okay, so now we are going to do case study on Raspberry Pi RTU. I'm sorry. We are going to understand how to use our ThingsSentral application. So before that, before we reach here, how to use it, we have to first register our ThingsSentral. Okay, you go to this link that I have included in the description. Okay, so you have to register. Maybe I put my name, password, yeah, password. Okay, so yeah, so log into your account. And then we have nothing here, so we have to create sensor ID. So for example, in this case, we want to transfer the data from browser, from here. I want to send from my computer to our ThingsSentral application. Okay, so now let's do it. Okay, go to the project setting. We want to create a project. For this case, the project is Learn ThingsSentral. Learn ThingsSentral. And save. And then you go to the location. Okay, so the setting is downward, top to bottom. Okay, so you have first create the project, and then you have to create the location for the project. So this is the project you have produced, and you have to add new. So the location name is my house. Save. Now you have created your location, your project location, which is I'm doing right now. And now we create node learn TS at my house. And now the node is my computer. I'm currently sending the data from my computer. Okay, for example, you are sending from Arduino. So you have to use, name it as Arduino RTU. Or you are collecting from numerous sensor node and then send it to one gateway. Toward ThingsSentral is called gateway. But if you have one sensor node only, it's called remote terminal unit. I hope you understand about that term. So our node is my computer. So because I want to send the data through my computer. And now the last setting is we have to add our sensor node. My house. Why is it empty node? We have to go back. Yeah. Yeah. I think because I didn't create. Yeah. There is some mistake there. Let me edit. So my computer. Go back to your sensor setting. Select your project, your house, and your node from your computer, and then add your sensor. Okay, so maybe sensor. So I sense my room temperature is quite cold. So I want to say this. I want to mimic this as temperature sensor. Okay. For example, your Arduino node have multiple sensor. For example, current sensor, voltage sensor, humidity and temperature sensor. You can add more for a single node. So maybe my computer have a lot of parameter that it can collect, so I can add more. Okay. So we have created our sensor sensor node ID. So take note, this is the one we need, the sensor ID. It contains our sensor user ID and also sensor ID. So here is our user ID 00003. Okay, so now let's go back to our slide. Okay, so as you can see, we have to get our sensor ID here. We can go back to our dashboard, click to sensor page where you can display your reading here. So it now will appear here. It should appear, but yeah, I have to get out. Okay, now you have created your project and now your location and node and what temperature, what sensor you want to add. Now, if you click latest data, it will contain no sensor reading because you haven't yet sent any data to here. Okay, so now we want to send the data to here using only browser. Okay, so how to do it? As you know, before this I mentioned we use REST HTTP GET. Okay. Okay, so here is the reason why we have to create our account. Then you have to create the sensor, the project, the location, and your node, and then lastly you have to create sensor node where you will get sensor node ID. Here is sensor node ID. This for my previous account, but in our case, this is our sensor ID here. 0003010200101. Okay. Okay, so let's see more. Okay, so this is the link where we want to send the data. So this is our ThingsSentral.io. Okay, so basically as you can see, we want to send to the cloud database. Okay, where ThingsSentral will pull the data from there to display. Okay, so from our sensor node ID, we can extract the data to be filled inside our link. Okay, so the user ID for our user ID is 00003. Okay, and then your sensor ID, you have to follow this format, which is first you have to put your user ID, add sensor ID, your sensor ID, and then you have to put this vertical bar and your sensor value. Okay, now let's try. Okay, so this is the link that I mentioned previously. Okay, so our created user ID is 0003. Is it correct? 40. Let's check first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 0102 0101. 0102 0101. I'm correct. Sorry, a lot of stuff going in. So 0102 0101. Okay, 0102 010101. Okay, so I think my room feel cold, so maybe I put 25 degree. Okay, so first your user ID, which is 0003, and then the sensor ID, and then slash the vertical bar. I don't know what is it called in the real term, and then your sensor value. This manual input. Okay. Okay, so you click enter. Okay, so now it will respond 100. 100 means the data is well received by the database. So when the database receive the data, it will respond 100. 100 means okay. Okay, now let's see if we receive our data. Aha, there you go. We have our data transferred to here. Okay, now you have understand a very basic working of HTTP GET. Okay, for Raspberry Pi user, you can browse to like this, Raspberry Pi GET, HTTP GET, where you can follow, the guide provided here, where you just only need this link, which contain your user ID, your sensor node, and also your sensor value. Okay, and then you just use this. They very for me, Raspberry Pi is super easy to use. You just have to import the library for request, where this one you require internet connection, Wi-Fi connection. Okay, so request.get the link, this link. Okay, this link, the API link, HTTP API link, you have to put inside here, and you only have to set this as variable where you can edit, and also this as your sensor node, your defined sensor node ID, and then you maybe for the Python you put x variable. Okay, the x is equal to the sensor reading. Okay, so it will change over time, but with the same sensor ID. Okay, you will get the reading like this, and that's all for now. I hope it will help you to really understand how the data transport from our node to the ThingsSentral. It's really fun, and I hope you have a lot of fun to explore this IoT stuff. Okay, if you have any question or inquiry, you can contact me through my email. Okay, bye-bye.